Los Angeles is a city built on dreams. People come from all over the country, all over the world, chasing something, but sometimes those dreams turn into nightmares. Here is the most gruesome and awful story ever covered. It begins with a young woman named Yana Kasian. She was 30 years old, from Ukraine, a tax lawyer who moved to LA to become a translator. Her mother, Olga, said Jana's biggest dream was to have a family in America, and for a while it seemed like that dream was coming true. She met a man named Blake Leibel. Blake was the son of a wealthy Toronto real estate developer. He'd inherited millions. He wanted to be a Hollywood producer, working on graphic novels and films. By all accounts, he was friendly, if a bit of a homebody. He liked comics and staying in. Blake had a complicated family. His parents divorced, and the two sons were split up. Cody, the older brother, stayed with the father. He became the flashy one, expensive Ferraris, multi-million-dollar homes, high-stakes poker. Blake stayed with his mother in a very wealthy but quiet part of Toronto. He always felt jealous of Cody's attention from their father. Blake's mother died in 2011, and a court battle over her estate left him with less than half of about $12 million. Still, plenty of money to chase his Hollywood dreams. When Jana met Blake, she fell hard. Olga flew to La to meet him. He was kind, kissed her daughter, called her Lubimaya, my beloved. Jana got pregnant. Their daughter, Diana, was born on Olga's 60th birthday. For a moment, they were a happy family. But Blake's life was secretly a mess. He was still married to his wife, Amanda. They had a son together, and she was pregnant with their second child when Blake abruptly left her for Jana. At the same time, he was seeing a third woman named Constance. He was living multiple lives, a condo with Jana, a house with Constance, and a divorce pending with Amanda. Less than a week before Jana's murder, Constance accused Blake of sexual assault. He was arrested. Jana had to bail him out. She was recovering from a C-section, and Olga says Blake pressured her for sex, threatening to leave her for another woman if she didn't comply. Jana was terrified of losing him. She even let her newborn baby live with Olga in a separate apartment so she could focus on Blake. Olga begged her daughter to leave him, but Jana kept running back. Here's where it gets even darker. Blake had a deep, growing fear. He was terrified of his brother, Cody's gambling. Cody played in an infamous high-stakes poker game called Molly's Game, which later became a movie. The game attracted movie stars, business titans, and reportedly members of the Russian mafia. Blake texted a close friend, saying Cody owed dangerous people over $1 million. Blake believed those mobsters might come after him and his family. He was paranoid, anxious, convinced that mortal threats were everywhere. On May 23, 2016, Jana went shopping with her mother. Later that day, Olga says Blake started texting Jana. Her mood changed completely. "I'm going to him," she said, and she left. The next afternoon, Olga couldn't reach her daughter. Her 6 calls all went to voicemail. A mother's intuition kicked in. "I have to go there," she thought. But the baby was sleeping. She called the police. They put her on hold, found a Russian-speaking officer, but no one went to the condo. The morning after, Olga took a taxi to the building. She looked up at the third patio and saw a man in the window. It was Blake. She banged on the door. No answer. Police came again, but they said they couldn't break the door down without hearing screaming. They tried to call Blake. No response. They left. Olga was torn frantic for her daughter, but she had to go back to feed her infant granddaughter. Finally, on Thursday morning, police agreed to enter. Olga waited outside on the sidewalk. Detectives later described what they found. The living room was disheveled. A hallway door was locked and barricaded. They took it off the hinges. A guest bedroom showed the first signs of blood, a bloody headboard, blood on the walls. Then the master bedroom. A large blood stain had been cleaned off the wall, and there, under a Mickey Mouse blanket, was Jana. She had been scalped. Her body was eerily pale, The injuries were unspeakable. The lead detective said it wasn't simply the killing of somebody, it was sadistic. Blake emerged from the bedroom wearing only boxer shorts, with scratches on his face and a bite mark on his arm. In his pants pocket, they found his passport and $4,000. He was ready to flee to Canada. When police told Olga her daughter was dead, she collapsed against the wall. Blake was arrested. In his booking photo, he's oddly smiling. He denied everything, and then he said something strange. Science is going to tell you who did this, and science did. Crime scene investigator Leslie Thompson walked into that condo and noticed something immediately wrong. For a murder this brutal, there was barely any visible blood. Someone had cleaned, so she brought out a chemical called Blue Star Magnum, basically luminol 2.0. It reacts with traces of blood that the naked eye cannot see. She sprayed it on the mattress, and it lit up. The bathroom floor lit up. The guest bedroom lit up. The chemical revealed bloody footprints, wiping patterns, and massive amounts of cleaned blood all over. The condo, the killer had tried to erase the evidence, but the science found everything. Blake Liebel was convicted of first-degree murder, torture, and aggravated mayhem. He is serving life in prison without the possibility of parole. As for Olga, she was left with the unbearable weight of knowing her daughter was being murdered while she stood outside, begging for help that came too late. She now raises her granddaughter, Diana, in Ukraine. She has received no financial help from Blake's family, despite her grief. She says she feels Jana's presence every minute of every day. This case reads like a movie script, the detective said, but it's more like a horror movie, a story of wealth, jealousy, fear, and a young woman whose American dream became a nightmare.